Hello, I'm your chemistry instructor, Kunapareddy. Welcome to General Chemistry 221. I am excited to introduce chemistry to you and looking forward to learn chemistry with you throughout this term. Let's start our chemistry discussion with chapter 1, titled as Chemistry, the Science of Change. Here I'm going to show you initially the contents that we are going to cover in this chapter. So we are going to cover 6 different parts. We are going to cover this chapter in 6 different parts. So I'm going to make 6 different videos. So this is the video that is going to cover the first topic, chemistry, the study of chemistry, where I'm going to talk about, common chemistry occurrences that we already know and what is scientific method is. I'm just going to go list by list of all these topics in each one of the separate video that I'm going to make for each one of these sections. That is how the format is going to be for all of these lectures. So let's just go into the details of topic 1. So topic 1 says a study of chemistry. If you think of, just before we jump into this topic right away, if you think of everyday things that you do on daily basis, like, you woke up and maybe you try to get some coffee, or maybe brush your teeth, or gargle your mouth using toothpaste or a solution, or maybe eat a cereal or drink some milk, or eat a meal, or eat a dessert, or touch a phone, or drive a car. What is one thing in all of these is you are able to experience um, a part of nature that we call it as matter. So chemistry is basically the study of matter and the changes that are going to occur to the matter. Now, in our universe, we have a naturally occurring matter like, air. Oxygen is naturally occurring, like nitrogen, or some gases are naturally occurring, or water is naturally occurring, or the sand is naturally occurring. So we can study these. And also there are some things that are not naturally occurring, such as, a Coke. It's not naturally occurring. Or milk is not naturally occurring. Cow has to make it. Or food that we eat is not naturally occurring. We need to produce it or cook it. All of these things are a Tylenol that you use when you have a headache. It's not naturally occurring. All of these things require you to study matter and its transformations, which we call it as chemistry. So chemistry is basically the study of changes that are happening to the matter. So I just gave you a general outline of it. Let's just go into the particular definition of what is chemistry is and what is matter is. So as I said previously, last couple of minutes, chemistry is the study of matter and the changes that matter undergoes. Like we discussed some examples, right? Tylenol is not naturally occurring matter. You need to combine some chemicals and methodically synthesize that molecule that we call it as Tylenol. Right? It is true for any other drug or food that we eat, all of these things. So what is matter? So matter is anything that has a mass and a volume. Anything. So everything in this universe that you were able to touch, feel, smell, or hold, all of these has one thing in common. They occupy particular amount of mass and has certain amount of volume. Then only you can experience these things. So again, anything that you can touch, feel, smell, taste, all of these things, we call it as matter. Okay. Let's look into some common matter changes that undergoes in our daily life that we can call them as study of chemistry, but that we not necessarily think of it as we are studying chemistry in our daily life. Whenever you try to cook, you're burning gasoline or propane gas to produce heat out of it. So you are converting propane into a thermal energy. You are basically changing the matter of one from the gas into the vapors of carbon dioxide and heat. So you are basically studying the chemistry there, because you are changing the matter from one form to another. And if you look at this liner there, it is having lots of rust. The rust is a compound that changes from just iron to iron oxide. So it changes that are happening to the matter. Or dissolving Alka-Seltzer is a tablet in water, you're making solution. It's not solid anymore, you're making a solution. So matter is undergoing changes from solid to liquid, so a solution. So it is also a study of matter. And you have like cookies here, delicious cookies there. So they're making me hungry. So these cookies are, you can only make them when you mix different types of ingredients together and put them in oven to undergo certain transformations so that they will be deliciously ready. So it is also changes that are happening to the matter that eventually converts flour and sugar into the cookies. So these are all examples of everyday changes to the matter that happens in our life that we can call them as a part of study of chemistry. So here is what we do if you have to study chemistry scientifically. So when scientists say something that it is a scientific theory, we have this certain authority to believe that, because a scientific theory is only proposed after a series of experimentation, hypotheses, and cross-checking of the instances that are occurring and cross-examining the instances that are occurring and ruling out the random possibilities that are happening to it. So a scientific theory will only be developed upon the series of continuous and reliable experimentation. So here is the actual process that is goes, like you observe something and you propose a hypothesis based on your observation. Then you say like, okay, I want to cross check it if it is true or not, or a random observation that I initially observed. Then you do experimentation. If your experimentation is reliable, which means, you know, over the time you are having the same answer. So then you propose a theory. So based on those theories, you know, you do further experimentations based on the theory. So if those experimentations are yielding the same result as the proposal to the theory, then you confirm that it is a scientific theory, which is a reliable information. If those further experimentation is not reliable or having issues, then we come back to the theory and modify experimentation again. So that's why whenever we say a scientific theory, we are like, okay, thank you, we are going to believe you, because it goes through this rigorous process. So one of the way we come up with the vaccines in the modern world, like in 1920s, for example, we come up with the vaccine for smallpox using on the basis of the mad cow disease in the cows. But it took some time to develop these vaccines because it undergoes a observation of, okay, so whoever is drinking, it happened in Europe. So whoever is drinking cow's milk is not having smallpox, but whoever not drinking cow's milk is having smallpox, which means cows has the immunity for the smallpox. So then those observations are developed into experimentation. So they cross-checked and observed thousands of kids that drank cow's milk and didn't drink cow's milk, and they come to the observation and propose the hypothesis that we need to study this, and they set up the experimentation on different kids, and over the series of years of experimentations, they come up with the conclusion that cows has the immunity for the smallpox, so we should look into what cows are doing and what enzymes we need to suck out of the cows and develop so that we can create a vaccine for smallpox. So that interesting reading, I just included the reading here, history of vaccines. I highly recommend you to spend just a couple minutes on it and read that article. It is a fantastic article to introduce yourselves, what goes into the scientific method. Okay. That's all for this part. I'll see you again in part 2 of this chapter 1 lecture.